for the approval, please.
Okay. Director Greg Wood,
Yes.
Director Byron Glenn,
Yes.
Director Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Gregory Washington,
Yes.
President Ben Stewart.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Public comments. At this time, we're going to open the floor to public comments. If anybody from the public would like to address the board on agenda matter that is not on the agenda, now is the time. Hearing none, I'm going to close public comments. Next is voluntary public roll call via teleconference. If any member of the public on the telephone or video conference wishes to identify themselves as present for the meeting, please do so for the records at minutes. Hearing none, I'm going to move on to consent calendar, CC1 and CC2. CC1, the review of the check voucher registered for dates June 17th through June 30th, and the payroll June 18th, and checks of June 18th. CC1, CC2 is cash balances for May 2025. Can I have a motion to approve CC1, CC2?
Can I ask a quick question before we approve?
Can I ask a question?
I mean, we gotta bring it up, then approve it, right?
Yeah, we can motion for it and then we discuss it after the motion. Do I got a motion to approve CC1 and CC2?
Mm-hmm. Second.
Motion made by Director Woods, second by Director Webb. Time for discussion.
So Mr. GM, question for us for clarification. I'm looking at the vouchers and it says Standard Solar Inc. And it shows net generation, 19,000. What is that?
Thank you for the question, Director Webb. It is the generation, the electricity generation at the wastewater plant,
Okay,
that we pay for. And this, initially it was placed in service about a little over a year ago. Initially we were paying 6 cents a kilowatt hour, and I want to say it's like 6.2 cents a kilowatt hour for what we're paying. So we're generating a lot of electricity out there.
well, okay, so we're generating or we're using a lot.
We're saying both.
I don't know what I'm saying, that's $20,000 a month's a lot of money.
Yeah, so, if we can certainly go back and look at what our energy costs have been.
I'd like to
compare,
Yeah, we should
compare, but the cost that we're paying for the electricity is 6.2.
So here's a question I have. With this energy unstable throughout the whole thing here, that number's probably gonna continue to grow.
Well, which number?
The 19,000, you said it went from 6.0 to 6.2.
Yeah, so we're on a power.
Okay.
So there's a schedule over the next 20 years of the rates that we're going to be paying, which pays for the installation of the not just the energy generated, but also the installation of the facility. Because we did not put any money up front out of pocket for that to be installed.
So the infrastructure for it and everything.
Correct. All the solar panels, everything, all the tie-in, all that is represented in that per kilowatt hour cost.
Okay,
Or unit cost.
which I understand. What I would like for you to do, and you don't have to rush to get this by the next meeting, but I'd like to see if we're saving any money on this, because when I'm looking at $20,000 a year, that's $120,000, that's over a year's time.
Yeah.
So my question is, that plant burning that much electricity, number one, to see the difference in the equipment cost versus the energy cost, and to see, I mean, I know back for a while, because we did it here in one of our tanks, we jumped on that net energy type thing, but I don't know if that's the goal.
It's the same program.
Okay,
It's net energy metering. So, and typically, I do know a little bit about those projects, because I did several projects like that for the county. So what you generally do is not build your entire solar field to completely replace your energy requirements.
okay.
Because if you generate more electricity than you use, then you end up, you don't get any refund for that.
Refund, you don't make any money.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't make any money off.
So generally speaking, it's about 85% of your peak is what they'll size the solar field for. And so when I say that we're using all that energy, I'm pretty certain we're using all that energy.
Okay, yeah, because I saw the number and I kind of
Yeah,
vaguely remember some of, that's just a big number. Because I know one of our tanks use some enormous amount.
yeah, and
One of the tanks out there is kind of, it's not at 20,000 a month, but it's well done. Well, no, there we go, thanks.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's so the other caveat to that is it's not as the energy charges we get from Edison is not a straight. It's secured. Plus, there's also other charges on the rate structure. So it's not a straight. Not like.
so you're riding an Edison roller coaster.
I'm just saying that it's.
Yeah,
We can.
I said it,
might
sir.
be a difficult
I said the Edison roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, fair enough, thank you. Okay, I think I saw, that was the only one that and you just explained it out to me. But if you could at some point, so we can look at what the numbers are, because I know we have looked at a lot of those and I'm good on that, Chair. But if you could get that back to me at some point, so we could take a look, I appreciate it. And that's all I had, Mr. President, thank you.
I'd like to add a little caveat to that. I agree with Director Webb, it's about seeing what the numbers are and everything, but I can say this, is that a treatment plant uses a tremendous amount of electricity. And your three biggest users are your blowers, influent pumps, and your effluent pumps. Because they're big, they take a lot of juice and power, and they're running 24/7. So I think we will be surprised when our general manager brings the numbers, just how much electricity that plant does use on a monthly basis. It will be a lot.
All right, anybody else? Okay, we already have the motions, time for roll call vote.
Director Greg Wood,
Yes,
Director Byron Glenn,
Yes.
Director Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Gregory Washington,
Yes.
President Vince Stewart.
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Minutes, M1, M2, M3, and M4, that's the Water Committee, the Finance Committee, Wastewater Committee, and the regular board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve M1 through M4?
Motion to approve M1 through M4, sir.
Motion made by Director Webb, do I have a second? Second, Director Glennon. Roll call vote, please.
Director Greg Wood,
abstain?
Director Byron Glenn,
Yes.
Director Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Gregory Washington,
Yes.
President Vince Stewart.
Yes. Thank you. Discussion, D1, strategic plan update, presenter, Kim Domingo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have any specific update except to say, and by the way, this was placed on the agenda at the request of Director Webb to get an update, which I appreciate. We need to revisit where we're at. So just to kind of recap, where all the initiatives that are in the strategic plan have been discussed and are being worked on in all the committees. So right now, I'll give you an example. In the Personnel Committee, we're working on the succession plan. That was one of the aspects that we were supposed to be working on. In the Water Committee, we're working on water acquisition and potentially water conservation. In the Personnel Committee, we also were working on employee relations and LEU. So there's a lot of aspects to the strategic plan which are being updated or being addressed, but it's not. I don't think all the information's been done or completed. All the work's been completed. So once we have once we're closer to that, I think it would be a great time to revisit that.
Any discussion? All right, moving on, new business, MB1, resolution 2025-10, amending the administrative handbook, adopting revised disposal of surplus equipment policy 8001 and the new disposal of surplus property policy 8002. Again, presenter Kim Domingo.
Thank you, Mr. President. This came up actually in the last meeting. We talked about having to address the disposal of surplus property. as it relates to the Surplus Lands Act and complying with the state requirement. What we did was, or what our attorney, Mr. Komar has done for us is prepare a draft policy. And we formatted it in the policy, formatted it to our administrative code format and structure, and I presented it at the committee level. It's ready for the board to consider. And what it does is it splits up what was policy number 8001, which was disposal of surplus equipment, and now we've separated them into 8001, which is disposal of surplus equipment, and then 8002, which is disposal of surplus property. And we've included all the steps and the policy recommendations that our attorney has provided to us by the Surplus Lands Act. So the resolution that you have before you is to approve both of those policies and make them part of the administrative code.
Do I have a motion for MV1? Motion made by Director Wood. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Vice President Washington. Discussion?
Yes, Chair, real quick. Is this the one we had in policy on Monday?
Yes.
Did you add the line that, President Stewart wanted that addition?
No, so this is not policy you were,
This is not that.
this is not the same policy. I don't think.
Okay.
It's not the same policy. That was a different policy.
Okay. Right. Yeah, sure.
We have several in the queue.
This is a question for you, Tim, and for probably John, maybe. I haven't read the state surplus act in quite a long time. But what I do remember about it is that it was almost way we were advised at that time. It was like a deal where if we have surplus property, in order to keep it, we have to justify what it's for, or we have to get rid of it. And even if we've got a piece of property that we might take time that, well, we might want to, keeping it for future expansion may not be a good enough reason. And so in reading this, has the state act changed in any way, or is it still pretty cumbersome in that regard?
It's cumbersome in that regard, except that there's a reasonableness standard, right? If there's a reasonable expectation that a property may be needed or used for district business in the future, then it's okay not to designate it as surplus lands and not follow all the procedures for dealing with surplus lands. Now, what is reasonable? That's the $1 million question, or maybe more. But that's the test that you're working with.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much.
I will have one question in regards to 8002.8, revenue from the district of revenue from the disposal of surplus property. All revenue from the disposal of surplus property shall be deposited in the district's general operating fund unless otherwise specified by the board. The reason I'm asking the question on that one, sir, some of the property, if it was donated, and I'm not talking about the file site, I'm just talking about other properties. If they came to us through a donation, do we have to do that for a specific, or do you come to the board and say, okay, we sold that property for $50,000 and we're going to do this with it? Or do you just let us know the property's been sold and you're going to bring it back to us and that's what we're going to do with it?
To answer your question, Director Webb, in general, any revenue deposited in the general fund, which would be, for us, it's, I think that's fund, for the statement, 99. I think it's the general fund is fund 99. Now, if a particular property was purchased, for example, if it was purchased to acquire water acquisition and water revenues or water reserves, or used to purchase that property, then any sale of that property would have to go back to the fund in which financed it. So if it was donated now, if it was donated, specifically, I think you're talking about, properties that the county may have donated.
No, I was gonna ask you different. What I understand about those, so here's a curveball.
Okay.
Get ready for it. So hypothetically, you swung early. Hypothetically, you write for water acquisition. We bought the property for $100,000. It's now worth more. Do we put the original back in the water fund? We can use an additional whatever for something different, or we have to all go back to water? Or am I getting way ahead of the?
I think I think it's a good question. I can see that. So I would say that would be an investment, that fund that would have to go back to that.
Back to the fund, because of the growth it made money and it
Well,
goes.
we could, right, well, or you could argue that you could have paused that money in a bank account and would have made revenue in that fashion as well.
Okay.
Just appreciate that.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. See, Bob tipped.
But still strike. It's still strike.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay, can I get a roll call vote, please, for MB1?
Director Greg Wood,
Yes.
Director Byron Glennon,
Yes.
Director Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Gregory Washington,
Yes.
President Ben Stewart.
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Here we go. Okay. MB2, engagement letter with Fontenot Benefits.
Fontenot.
Say that again?
Fontenot.
Fontenot Benefits. Hey, I'm not doing good tonight.
Actuarial.
Actuarial. Those are two words I've never said. So, consulting for actuarial calculation services. Presenter Kim D'Amico.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have, in our last MOU negotiations and the MOU that was adopted by the board, there have been changes to the employee retirement post-employment benefits package. And because of that, in order to meet the requirements of GASB 75, and I forget what GASB stands for, I'm sorry.
The government accounting standards board, sir.
Thank you.
Wow.
Are you looking that up?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
We're a team, sir.
So yeah, in order to meet the requirements of that, that's a standard. And in order to satisfy, for example, our retirement program, which is CalFirst, we need to complete that analysis. So this particular consultant is just providing those services. It's for the amount of $2,500, and he's going to do the valuation for the periods covered by the end of fiscal year 2025 and the end of fiscal year 2026.
Okay. Motion for MB2.
Motion approved, sir.
Motion made by Director Webb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Director Wood. Any discussion? Okay. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Director Greg Wood,
Yes.
Director Byron Glennon,
Yes.
Director Rick Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Gregory Washington,
Yes.
President Ben Stewart.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Director reports, comments, and future agenda items. Director Webb, would you like to start, please, sir?
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Two things. At the RMAC, they had where they have a website if you want to report a problem to the community, and it reads report a problem, and for the benefit of the people who aren't present, it's Kern, KERN, publicworks.com/report. So if you see something in the community you want to bring to Kern County's attention to address it, it's Kern publicworks.com/report. And apparently their turnaround is 2 to 3 days. They're on it, so if you submit it, so we have that. It's hot, folks, so stay hydrated. I keep telling everyone, if you're not getting hydrated a couple of days before, you're in trouble the day of, because you're not gonna take in enough water. So even, I was just looking at the news before I came over, they were saying lightheadedness, whatnot or whatever. That means you're probably dehydrated. Stay out of the sun. If you, and that thing gets some, get some shade or whatever, but get hydrated. Because if you black out, pass out, you drive the car, something, that could be a traffic collision. What if you're home by yourself? And as a safety warning to all of us to think about, if you happen to be at the house by yourself a lot and you're paranoid, you lock every lock in the house 4 times over. Remember, if you have an emergency, nobody can get in. They got to smash your door. So I've been telling a lot of folks, if you're at home by yourself, let them know you're home by yourself. It's not a secret. Hey, friends, not everyone, but let a friend know I'm at the house by myself. But don't lock all the deadbolt locks in there, because if you have an emergency, no one's going to be able to get in there unless smash your windows or whatever. And the reason I'm saying that, a lot of us know elderly folks. Call them on the phone and check on them. What are you doing? You don't have to tell them you're checking on them. Just call them and say, hi, how you doing? I'm checking on you. Whatever you want to do. But be mindful of that. The last thing, sure. Are we looking at them getting some shirts for the conference? This conference is almost over now. You getting close?
So you're running them for the CSTA?
Whatever.
Yeah. I can have them for you.
Well, but okay, but whatever. But anyway.
This month.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to, but yeah, and the last thing I have, folks, is in our community, everyone's racing, trying to get someplace. Stay heads up, keep your seatbelts on, and give them the road, because for whatever reason, we're in a rush to get nowhere. Don't be that person who's in a rush to get nowhere and wind up in someone's back seat or someone's front yard or whatever. So slow down, give them one piece. Thank you, sir.
I always appreciate your comments. You can see the emergency preparedness. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Vice President Washington, it's your turn, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. I recently attended the groundbreaking ceremony at the Palmdale Water District for the Palmdale Ditch Conversion Project. This project is an upgrade on an 8.5 open ditch to an enclosed pipeline. Palmdale Ditch, which runs from Little Rock Dam to Lake Palmdale, has in fact been in operation for more than 100 years. But an enclosed pipeline will save water and move greater amounts of water to Lake Palmdale, which supplies water for Palmdale Water District and Little Rock Creek Irrigation District customers. This is a $22.5 million project, and it's being fully funded by grants from the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation and the California Department of Water Resources. It was also really a good day for me, as I got a chance to meet and interact with a couple of the AVAC board of directors. I always feel like these are great opportunities to network and build relationships that can only benefit our community. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you very much, sir. Coach Wood.
Well, I would just like to say, a comment on Director Webb. Everybody needs to stay safe out there with the heat starting to spike and get hotter and hotter. And I'd just like to add something to what he was saying about water. Water has become my new best friend as of the last month. And I drink a lot of it. But the doctor told me one time, I remember him telling me that, he says, as soon as your mouth starts getting dry, that's the first sign of dehydration. So don't wait to start getting dizzy. If you got a dry mouth, get some water and keep drinking and stay hydrated. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. I agree. I've always been told if you're drinking when you're thirsty, you're not drinking enough. Director Glenn.
The ABAC meeting last night was kind of short, and but there was one director, and I won't name them, who on a regular basis questions the costs of contractors, change orders, and those that are getting paid just to supervise the workers. And it reminds me of Director Webb. He's always wondering where that money's going. And I don't know. When it's a large sum of money, you really wonder, do we need that much supervision? And that's what this director was talking about. And I think it kind of, not if it doesn't reflect on the necessarily the general manager, but it does keep those contractors that are submitting bids to try to keep their bids down. And it reminds me of Director Webb.
Yes, because when you have 5 kids, Mr. Numbers are the numbers. And that's why we have a PE for our general manager that understands plans and save us money on that also. So that's my side.
Yes.
Yeah. And Bill, that meeting, was listening on the meeting. Yeah, I heard you actually chimed in.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to do that. I might,
Forget to turn it off. I checked multiple times during the meeting to make sure. Myself as well as at the AVIC meeting, I attend virtually. I'm actually starting to grow to really enjoy them, just to see the interaction they have. One of the previous directors was that was no longer there, took a lot of the excitement out of the meetings, but it's still a good meeting. It's nice to hear what Big Brother's doing up on the mountain, and I enjoy it, you know. And there's stuff that and I can't remember the name of it because I don't use it that much, but it's that groove they put in the pipes where you put the clamp around it. I can't remember what it's called. What's it again? Hydraulic group. They actually have that machine up there. They bought a new one that they can put the grooves in, and they have opened it up to all the water districts in our area to, if they need to use it, come up and use it. So I have that in my back pocket. So I like that. Other than that, I don't have much going on. It's been a busy week, and I appreciate the hard work of staff, and I appreciate you guys coming here to these meetings because I think we care a lot, and I think it shows. So, General Counsel update, John Komar.
The only thing I have to report is I have a nice big glass of water in front of me, so stay hydrated to perform my duties for the district.
I like to hear it, sir.
Other than that, nothing.
General Manager update, Domingo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have anything specific to report on, except that we do have quite a few construction projects and design projects going on. We've been covering those in the water and wastewater committee meetings, and I think what I will do, just to give you an update, because we are doing quite a bit of stuff, might be a good idea, to bring a discussion item that talks about all the capital projects that we're doing, because we are doing a lot. And we don't toot our horn enough, I guess is what I'm saying. So I will schedule that for the next meeting, but I will say, I will not be in attendance at the July 23rd meeting, because I'm going to be at a funeral. So I just want you guys to know that I will not be in attendance. So right now we're scheduling. There'll be items for you to take action on, but I will not be in attendance. That's all I have for today.
Thanks, sir. I'm going to put my notes right over your title, so it's going to screw me up from saying it. So I'm going to say it. Director of Administration update, Sherry Temple.
Thank you, Mr. President. So it has been a very slow month for shut-offs, thankfully. We had a grand total of 5
Wow.
for this month. It started with notices last month. We started the process the month before, so 90 notices. Then by the time the notices came out, we sent the door hangers for those that haven't paid, 57 door hangers. And it resulted in only 5 people that were not able to pay. So we were very happy with that. We are almost to the end of our camera and alarm system upgrade project. Cameras are in. We've got the alarm system panel being worked on, and they're at wastewater right now, finishing up there. So we're happy to upgrade that technology. And there are only 169 days until Christmas.
Wow.
So we ship that.
That's the best you got for us.
Yeah, that's the end of my report. Let's try with questions.
39 days. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Public Works update, John Houghton.
Just, public works crew's been busy out there with the leaks going on. Haven't got a lot of sewer cleaning or Cameron last couple of weeks, but they have ramped it up this week. As far as, talk about AVAC and the report with AVAC, we actually had to borrow a plug from them on Monday to put a sewer line that ours broken. They were happy to allow it to, so we have a pretty good rapport with the maintenance department over there at AVAC, so.
John Bozzi.
Great guy.
Great guy. And you know what? I forgot to make a mention on my thing. I was thinking about it, and I said a little bit, but what I meant to say was I was heading out of town on Friday, and I know we're off, and I'm heading out of town, and I see the combination truck going out. They're rolling into a call, and it makes you think when people are laying in their beds, our staff is still going out and making sure your toilet's flushing in the morning, the water's coming on, and they have no idea. And so that's why I was saying I appreciate staff. I forgot my little note there, but you know, somebody answers the phone and they're happy to help. So I do appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hey, Jared, I have a question for you. I'm looking at the pest control measures. Are we hitting up all the sewers because this year I've noticed less bugs than last previous couple of years. At one point it was almost at one point it was almost a daily battle at the curve, but it's better than manageable. So whatever you guys are doing it, keep doing it, because it's this year here is like I'd say 50% to 60% better than a couple of past years. But with the bug, the road is coming up.
The last 2 years, we've been doing a lot more sewer stuff than we have.
Well, outstanding, because you can see the results. You can see what my wife tells me, because whenever she sees a bug, whose fault it is. Mine. So, but anyway, thank you very much, John. Thank you.
And, I have a question, because we do have a good relationship with AVAC and the fact that they have a key this water treatment plant here in our community. Are we prepared to be reciprocal within the weekend or 2 o'clock in the morning if they need a part, or if they need some personnel to come help with something that will be of assistance to them?
Absolutely. I have, John and myself share our personal. We've actually helped them out. We had that flood. They needed a vacuum truck.
Okay,
They were in
great.
a situation, we took our back truck up there and sucked out their balls.
Okay, great. That's good to know, because it's so good to have agencies, working together. And I'm very happy to
Nice
hear that.
call up there, they had a 16-inch foot in stock.
There you go.
Didn't slow our process down.
Yeah, you just don't pick those up off the shelf at Home Depot, do you?
No, you don't.
They're Lowe's. Lowe's have it.
All right, I'll remember that. All right. Is there anything else for the good of the meeting? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 6:35. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mary.
Sir.